It's kind of funny because Dungeons and Dragons was under heavy attack by the Christians back in the day during the Satanic Panic, and the idea was that if you allow your children to play Dungeons and Dragons, it's going to turn them away from religion at best, and it's going to turn them into evil warlocks that will summon succubi at worst. And the company didn't cave. I mean, it gave a couple of lip service here and there, but overwhelmingly, nothing crashed. I mean, the parents who were concerned still bought Dungeons and Dragons. But they did cave when the same argument was made that if you play Dungeons and Dragons, your kids are going to become racist! And they are going to form into political groups, into political faction, and they are going to create an empire that will dominate the world. So we, the social justice, have come back through time to warn Wizards of the Coast about the danger that they have created. A board game capable of washing the minds of human beings, of erasing the pure thoughts of children and putting into them racismus and antisemitismus and homophobismus and misogynismus, and the child will never be the same. Oh, be afraid, moral panic, 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 panic. So, of course, the corporation took this seriously and did changes. They retconned the lore in order to make sure that the evil which delves into the children of white people will not be released. Just like Uzumaki Naruto was protected with the seal against the tailed fox, against the Biju, so too that the company is now protecting the minds of your children from unleashing their bigotry on the world. So how did they do this? Well, in Dungeons and Dragons you have different races, but just because the word is race, it doesn't really mean that it applies to the same concept as we apply when we talk about an Asian person or a black person. In Dungeons and Dragons, the idea of race is applied to halflings, to elves, to dwarves, and there are even different species. Like, from what I understand, a dwarf cannot have children with an elf in the Age of Pharaoh. So, why is this important? Like, why was it important for the dwarves to behave completely differently than the orcs? Well, because it's the essence of fantasy. It's what causes the drama. Like, it's very interesting when you put a dwarf into a party, a dwarf who is renowned for caring a lot about honor, tradition, and you put him in the party with a loudmouth halfling who doesn't care about any of that. And it causes drama. It's interesting. And it's also very interesting when you have an overarching evil, like, for example, Sauron is coming, and now you have all these different races that have grievances and differences with one another, having to put aside those differences and work together. And that causes great drama. It causes great storytelling. That's the purpose. It's not the purpose to be racist. But even then, you may have, like, a need for a bad guy. Like, for example, the dungeon master needs to create a villain that the paladin can smash. And that villain doesn't need to have any elaborate thinking. It doesn't, like, you don't need to negotiate with the villain. You just need to roll the dice and do some attack damage. So, okay, now you have the goblin. Or now you have the trolls or whatever. Right? Like, it's needed that you have some form of enemy in a board game that is designed for people to level up by hitting stuff and getting more powerful weapons. But, you know, what? Fine. So let's see the changes that they made. Well, apparently the previous Dark Elves, the reason they were evil was because they had a civil war with the elves on the top surface, and they went into the Underdark where they started worshipping an evil goddess by the name of Loth. And because of that, the elves are now evil. It's because of their culture. So, unlike orcs, Dark Elves are not inherently evil in the world of Dungeons and Dragons. It's just the culture that they grow up in, the upbringing, which makes them evil. For example, in Baldur's Gate, you have Vicona de Vir, a powerful drow which is cast out from her society and has to live topside. And when you meet her, if I remember correctly, she just butchered the family of peasants, because that's how she knows. Like, violence is the only thing that she knows. And if you actually take her in your party, you do so at the expense of the reputation for the party, because everyone now hates you because you're traveling with a drow. But if you talk to her and over the course of time, you can even turn her into a hero. And it's that very interesting journey of a person that is taken from a place where she only knows evil and human sacrifices and that the strong need to dominate the weak. And you actually manage to care about her and to help her out. And over the course, she actually becomes one of her endings allows her to become a neutral good creature. And that is a fascinating storytelling. That is a very interesting journey with how you can take someone that doesn't know any better, like that is the only world that they know, and you manage to transcend them all the way. And she's one of the most favorite characters. Another character that's really popular, also a drow, is Dritz the Urden, which honestly is kind of like a Gary Sue. But besides the point is the fact that he is a drow and he manages to become a chaotic good character, and he even gets racismus, probably some homophobismus from the people around him the moment they see him, but then they change their mind as they see his good actions, and he manages to change the minds of bigots. He is a fan favorite, and none of those are going to happen anymore because, well, now the drow, they're not all evil. Like, some of them are, but according to the retcon, many of them aren't. And it's not like they're able to replace them with other good characters and say, hey, that was in the past, but we have some really great character now that you guys are going to love. Like, when we're going to put them on the stores, you'll not be able to find them because they're going to sell so fast you didn't even know they existed. No, they have nothing. They have nothing. They just have boringness. They want to take every single race in Warhammer and make them look like the humans. So the dwarves are going to act like humans, the elves are going to act like humans. It's like, what's the point then? Why even have all these different species if they all act the same? I mean, it's sci-fi, it's fantasy. The whole point is to create drama. It's like, how do you get two people that act differently and you get them together? How do the elves get to treat a dwarf that's in the party when they walk through the forest? How does the dwarf manage to convince the elves that they shouldn't shoot him on sight? That is something interesting. That creates drama. It creates tension. But no, I guess we're not going to have that anymore, at least not officially. And you have even other ridiculous changes. The entry for brothel on the random taverns table is now replaced with music hall. Aww, that's so sweet. By the way, aren't the left the ones that say sex work is real work? But at the same time, brothels are bad? Like, are they going to go and demand Germany to make it illegal for those to exist? Because, by the way, they're legal in Germany and in some other places of Europe. But yeah, whatever. I guess modern developers, they can only take away from things that were great. They can only remove things, but they're not adding anything in return, are they? Is there a new story which came out from the Wizards of the Coast that managed to sell and it managed to impress people? Is there a new character from Wizards of the Coast that managed to sell or impress people? No. The only thing they have left is to just create some controversy by removing things so that people like me get to talk about it. But I even doubt that what I do is going to sell their game at this point. I don't think if I even manage to talk about it nonstop, a single person is going to buy their game if they keep doing this. Anyway, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the comment section.